When I was 20 years old, I thought I wouldn't work for my dad's company until I was 30.
Do you like it? Like, do you actually like it? And could you see yourself doing something else?
I would say fiscally, I don't think I would have been able to make as much money, maybe. So I don't regret it from that perspective. Family businesses have their problems too. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. Times can be as much internal conflict as there is external. My dad and I could have chose not to get into the deaf business and we could be doing stuff the old way. That's how easy it is. And my mom didn't realize that when she was saying, I was raised pumping gas and I just wanted to. I was never required to. I just wanted to.
Hey everyone, welcome to my fourth episode of SMB in the Trenches. Today I have Dominick Tullo, a fourth generation business owner out of Kearney, New Jersey. He moves oil all around the country. Happy to have you, Dom.
Yeah, Bodhi, thank you so much, man. Happy to get on.
I think this is our second time having one of these. I relaunched the podcast just to be me and just kind of do something simple. Tell me a little bit about what you do. How'd you guys get into the oil industry or just the DF industry itself?
Yeah, I would say one thing my family's done really well at is moving with what the world requires now as it pertains to energy. My great-grandfather was doing ice and coal in Jersey City, in the pre-refrigerated.
Classic Italian.
Right, literally, they would take these big plier-looking devices with hooks, and they would hook up ice and deliver coal, right? Pre-refrigeration, you get your ice delivery every 2 to 3 days, I guess. Then that switched over to heating oil, heating homes with heating oil. Then we did some gasoline with ExxonMobil. At the time it was Esso. The heating oil was with Esso. This is calling it Exxon. Fast forward to today, we operate some travel plazas, we operate truck stops, we operate some gas stations, we wholesale to gas stations, and we provide diesel exhaust fluid to truck fleets, as well as diesel fuel to truck fleets. And I would say at this point, T&R Oil Company primarily focuses on selling to commercial fleets. So we don't sell heating oil anymore. We only sell to commercial applications, whether it be power generation, truck fleets. And I would say our mission statement now is just sell every fluid a fleet needs and do it well. And if you hear horns in the background, I apologize. I'm literally sitting at the Tullo truck stop.
That's why it's called SMB in the Trenches. We love that shit. That's awesome. Perfect. And how has EV affected you guys? Electric vehicles probably helps you. Most people would think it hurt you, but I feel like you still need to be doing this shit anyway.
It's a wonderful question. Let's break it down into segments. So passenger vehicles, like the car you drive.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen 1% year over year decline in gasoline demand. On a national basis. Where I am locally in New Jersey and where most of our gasoline wholesale business is, and by gasoline wholesale, I mean selling gas to gas stations. We're in one of the wealthier parts of the country where people have multiple vehicles, so they do have EVs. So we've seen pretty big decline in gasoline volumes in the New Jersey market. I would also just say, even if it weren't for EVs, cars are so efficient now. Most things are hybrid. If not, you're getting 30 miles to the gallon unless you're driving a gas guzzler. So by and large, there has been a decline in gasoline on passenger vehicles. Now, if we talk about diesel fuel and truck fleets, whether it be regional, over the road, or local, that has been affected negligible amount, almost none at all. The only things that we're seeing convert to EV are either things that are heavily subsidized or final mile stuff like Amazon deliveries. That's a great application for it because it's predictable where you're going. You're going to be back in the same yard each night to park. Doesn't quite work for heavier applications or more time sensitive stuff. So we've not seen really any effect on a commercial basis yet.
Sweet. Yeah, I feel like with diesel exhaust fluid, for example, it's only going to get bigger. As I was in the dumpster space, I was in the trucking space. I hated dealing with DEF. I'm sure you hear that all the time, but you just had to deal with it because of regulations, especially in New York and everywhere else. But why is gas so cheap in New Jersey? I know the answer to this, but like you're telling me you're doing B2B to gas stations. Like, why is gas cheaper in New Jersey compared to New York, compared to anywhere else in the country? Most people don't know how cheap gas is in Jersey.
Most of what you pay for in gas actually goes to the state and federal government.
Interesting.
Right now, I'm less familiar with gasoline, but on diesel fuel, 74 cents of your diesel fuel that you paid for per gallon in New Jersey, most of it goes to 24 cents of that go to the federal government, and the other 50 cents goes to the state government. So that's a big portion as to why it may be more expensive in some states than others. Now, that said, New Jersey is very densely populated, so these roads take a beating. Where, if you're in flyover country, you're not taxing the roads physically as much, so the state taxes are less. Also in New Jersey, we pump the gas for you. It's kind of counterintuitive why it would be cheaper if we do that for you, but that's just like an old piece of legislation that's never going to go away.
Yeah, just being like when I used to live in New York, I'd always go to Jersey for gas because I'd save like $10. And how has like Venezuela affected you guys? I feel like you get asked this all the time. I haven't seen you talk about it yet, but like, is that good for your business or bad for your business? Like, has it even affected you in the micro, and how will it affect you in the macro?
We love when oil is cheap because at T&R Oil, we issue lots of credit to our fleet clients. So if you have a 15 truck fleet, we literally underwrite you the same way a lender would because we're lending you money. We're usually doing net 30 terms. So for that reason, we really do like when our cost of goods sold is low because our credit risk and credit exposure is less. That said, Venezuela has not affected us. I'm not a geopolitical fuel or extraction expert, but my gut tells me that oil is actually going to go up to $70 a barrel, where right now it's like 58, 59. Because from what I understand, the cost to take the oil out of the ground in Venezuela is way higher than people suspect. And for it to underwrite, it needs to be a $65 or a $70 barrel for that to make sense. So my gut just tells me that oil is going towards $70 a barrel.
Interesting. That's crazy because most people would think the opposite. That's why it's good to ask you because you've been doing this for so freaking long.
It's what my gut says.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. I'll follow up on that prediction in a couple months. Perfect. When it comes to your business, like where do you see more growth? Do you see more growth in the diesel side or the exhaust fluid and lubricant side?
We use a mixed approach to growth, and some of it actually pertains to credit issuance, or just time to close and sales cycles. So generally speaking, to convert a client to buy our DEF is a faster sales cycle than it is to convert someone to buy our diesel or even our lubricants. So we feel we have some of the best pricing power in the market on DEF. So we will go to a fleet and we will not quite use it as a loss leader, but we will go right to where we have to earn that business price-wise on a per gallon basis. We will build that relationship. We will see if that customer pays. If they don't pay their DEF bill, they're not going to pay their diesel bill. The credit exposure is maybe 10%, if that. So we'll kind of shoehorn in the DEF sale. Then we'll build the relationship. It gives us a reason to show up at the client. We have in-person sales reps who show up in person still and do business. It's just how it works. My industry's not ready yet to go to the 1-800 model. We show up, convert you to DEF. Now our rep is going back, once a month, once a quarter, and they're making it seem like they're coming in to check on the equipment, stopping by to see how things are going. But really what they're doing is relationship building, and they're learning more about your fleet. Then we'll come in, maybe we'll offer diesel. And what we say is, can we price you on diesel? We don't ask you for the business. We just say, hey, do you mind if we price you on this? And we kind of just like to passively put it in the fleet owner's hands. Once we started to kind of realize that this upsell was gaining traction, then we just vertically integrated and said, well, what was vertical the sale? And just say, well, what else can we upsell you on? So, then we implemented lubricants. So antifreeze, washer fluid, hydraulics, basically every fluid that the trucking fleets need. So that's really a big part of our growth is in the future just kind of continuing to upsell We have opted not to grow geographically.
Yeah.
There's enough business in New Jersey. We could be putting trucks in Baltimore or Boston or, Philadelphia and distributing from there instead of doing that, which many of my competitors do. A lot of my competitors will just do diesel and have trucks all over the place. We've opted to just keep it right here and just sell more products.
Yeah, no, that must be good for you because I'm a big fan of also the back end upsell. Extract as much LTV as your customers as possible is so powerful for your business. And how are you the best price? You're telling me you're the best price with diesel exhaust fluid. Where are you getting the DEF from, and what makes you better priced than your competitor down the street? How do you build that price? How do you build those relationships?
When we got into the DEF business, we were lucky enough to have the experience in our company where I was able to ask, either implicitly or explicitly, I was able to ask the previous generation, said, hey, when you got into the heating oil business, what would you have done differently if you could have done it from the start? Yeah. And one of the owners here said, I wish we knew what was in every tank, gallon-wise. So we, off the bat, put cellular monitors in every single tank that we put out into the field. And what I mean by that is we build the tanks here. It's part of the service offering, at least for us. Not all of my competitors do this. Some hire third party. But we build every tank that we put out into the field. So when we build them out, we were just putting these remote monitors on these tanks. And these remote monitors just gave us real-time visibility on how much they had left.
Yep.
And if you're not familiar with DEF, it burns at a 3% burn rate to diesel fuel. So, an average size fleet probably does not get one of these deliveries more than once a month. Unless you're a large fleet. And if you're a large fleet, we put larger tank solutions in. So implementing technology early helped us with route optimization. So when we send a truck from Newark, New Jersey to Wilmington, Delaware, which is a route that we do run frequently,
yep,
my dispatch team will look at the tanks that they can hit along the way. So when we get to that final stop, our truck is empty. And then it also makes it cheaper to return. We're not as heavy coming back up the turnpike.
Yep.
So our routes are packed. And that took a long time to build critical mass on. But what I realized was I'm better off going cheap now and building critical mass and dispensing a full 4,000 gallon load at a lower margin coming back empty than I am holding the margin too high, coming back half full. Also, the inefficiencies of my clients calling to put orders in is highly stressful. We don't really take that many calls for orders. We do have some clients who do email orders in. So if you have an order emailed in from Wilmington, Delaware, we'll put that on the map, and then we will use our telemetry system, all the tank monitors, and daisy chain that route together. And we quickly had a lower cost to deliver than any of our competitors. To this day, a lot of my competitors still do not use that. So that was a big thing that we did early and we did right.
Did you build that yourself?
No. There's companies that offer that.
It's pretty intense. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
There's companies that offer that. It's a commodity product. It's such a commodity product, you can negotiate the rates down.
Nice.
But shout out to TankScan. That's who we use. They're not the cheapest, but it's a phenomenal product. It has a 97% success.
And were you able to calculate, ever since implementing that into, let's say, Wilmington, Delaware, were you able to calculate, this has saved us this much money a month, this is how much it saves us a year? Were you able to calculate that to the T?
Candidly, not at all.
Not at all, right? It's too hard.
It's so hard, and we're just not a big enough business to have a data analyst like that. I think that's something cool that could happen in the future. But since we grew so much critical mass, in my business, there's producers, there's marketers, and then there's wholesalers like me, and then there's the end user. I was a wholesaler buying from a marketer who was buying from the producer. You need to jump that as fast as you can. Yeah. And about 3 years ago, we jumped that to buying directly from the urea manufacturers who were importing it into the coastal markets where we buy from. So that was also huge for us. Probably dropped our cost of goods sold by about 10%.
Nice.
Which in the commodity business is massive.
Yeah, you got to cut the middleman, literally in any business.
Yeah. So that was big too. And then I would just say shout out to how our trucks are built. That also came from previous generations. Our trucks look, drive, perform like 4,000 gallon fueling trucks, kind of like a heating oil truck, Bodhi.
Yep.
So when we get on site, we're filling a tank in about 3 minutes of pump time.
Yeah.
We're pumping about 80 gallons a minute. Our competitors will use a box truck setup where they were pumping considerably slower.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so our time on site was maybe 50% of what their time on site was.
Nice.
That was awesome.
And did you always think you were going to go into this business? Like, I know you went to college. What'd you do from, let's say, when you graduated, like your first 3 years out of college? Because I know most family businesses, like, you guys go to college and you end up doing something else, working for the man, working a 9 to 5, and then end up going back into the business. Like, what did you do after college, and how quickly were you back into your family business post-college?
When I was 20 years old, I thought I wouldn't work for my dad's company until I was 30.
Wow.
I had I had a real estate SaaS product that was functional. I had 2 clients. And my dad bought a partner out like a few months before I graduated and had just had a massive growth spurt. And my father, for the wonderful man he is, does not understand how to scale or understand how to delegate. He just does everything.
He's an old-time Italian.
Yeah, man. So he just he literally couldn't handle it. And when I was working on the SaaS product, he was like, look, just work on it in my office. And then when you're free time, like, just help me out.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I quickly realized I did not like selling software. Because
what was a SaaS product like around real estate?
It was a ticketing software. So if you had an issue with your apartment, you just put a ticket in. And
simple.
We had a couple. Our clients were property management services, and we had a nice one in Connecticut using it because that's where our school was. Yep. Quinnipiac. We built it at Quinnipiac, and it was a functional product.
And what'd you go to college for? Did you go for supply chain? I
went for small business and entrepreneurship. Quinnipiac had a great entrepreneurship program. I got super lucky with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
And you think that's helped you today, like with the family business? Like what you learned in college, has that helped you today?
Yes, because I think I got a little lucky, and I think I was actually like curious.
Yeah.
You could have taken the same major I took and just fluffed it.
Yeah.
But our professor gave us credits for trying to start businesses, and he would sign us up for as many business plan competitions as possible. We would fly all over the country. I would say we probably went to like 10.
Yeah.
And we would present business ideas, whether they were real or not, didn't matter. And you would present ideas and back them up and have to answer questions. And we learned how to talk and speak in public. And we learned about different cities and going out and basically just like being an adult. Like, we learned how to operate. So yeah, it was valuable. I'm sure you could find that anywhere if you want.
Yeah. No, I feel like when you always see people shitting on like the whole college thing, and it's like, nah, dude, that teaches you communication skills with people, you know? Like, it's super important to go to college to just learn communication skills. Believe it or not, I failed my like 3 of the 4 entrepreneurship tests in college, and I DM'd my
entrepreneurship test.
Yeah, exactly. But it was off a textbook. But he's also a 5th generation family business owner out of New Jersey, and I DM'd him on LinkedIn and was like, hey, professor, like, check this out. This is how much revenue I did last year, and I sold this other company. And he was like, holy shit, that's amazing. I never would have thought that, you know? So it's all about what you put into the game at the end of the day when it comes to college.
Yeah, man. It's also a great time. Like, yeah. If you don't have the means to go, then don't go. And I certainly don't suggest taking, mass amounts of debt to go.
I feel the same way.
But if you have the means to go and you can make the most of it and you can have a lot of fun, I suggest it.
That's the most important part. And do you regret coming back into your business? I assume no. Like,
I go back and forth with this, honestly.
Do you like it? Like, do you actually like it? And could you see yourself doing something else?
Honestly, I go back and forth with it. I wonder if I had done it differently, how it would have gone. I would say fiscally, like I don't think I would have been able to make as much money, maybe. So I don't regret it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I will say, you know, family businesses have their problems too. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. There's
people don't realize that.
Yeah, there's often just, you know, I would say there can at times can be as much internal conflict as there is external. When you basically are partners with people in business, primarily just because your last name matches.
Yeah.
The other incentives do not generally align, right? People just have different wants and needs, and that's not anything against anybody.
That's just business partnership in general.
That's partnership in general, but you add another layer to it.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, bifurcating that, yeah, man, and separating the two things
it's impossible.
Is difficult. So you need to be the right person for it. I'm probably a little bit too entrepreneurial to like fit into, you know, the box of working for previous generations. Yeah. And at time that probably, you know, makes me more susceptible to conflict than other people who would do it. Because some people will just go work for their dad and it's just like, Dad, I'll do whatever you want.
Whatever you say. Yeah.
Now they won't see any growth that way because it's just going to kind of die out. I don't think you're going to learn a whole lot that way. So it really just depends. I do go back and forth with if I would do it again versus not do it again.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think you do a great job at it. Like being a fourth generation, usually the fourth generation, like you're not sitting in that desk right now, you know, working. Like I know a lot of family business owners and usually like the third and second generation are just spoiled brats, you know? So I definitely respect you for that. Cause like you're very honest and like you have no ego when it comes to it, where I've seen the complete opposite. Which is pretty cool.
Dude, I was raised pumping gas.
Yeah.
And that's just what I was always around. And
yeah, like what's the biggest lesson you've had from like being raised in this business, you know? Like for me, I was never raised in a family business, but my dad taught me to work my fucking ass off. And like, that's how I live my life today. But like for you, it's like, what was a big change for you, like growing up that was just like ingrained in you to this day for your working business life?
I'll never forget a conversation me and my mom had. I couldn't tell you exactly how old I was or what the exact context was or why I said this. But I would guess I was anywhere from 8 to 11 years old, and for some reason the combination of words came out of my mouth of, well, at least we're rich, right?
Yeah. And
my mom so quickly put me back in my place and was like, "No, we're not. Like, we're not. Your dad works very hard, and no, we're not." And I couldn't tell you the exact other words that were exchanged, but I was like, "Oh, okay." Like just that never left my mind. And even though, you know, we do quite well, I know exactly what she means because none of this is guaranteed. Yep. Even today, 20 years later, none of this is guaranteed. You still have to operate. You still have to compete. My dad and I could have chose not to get into the deaf business, and we could be doing stuff the old way, and you could just be, you know, trending down and not growing. That's how easy it is. And my mom didn't realize that when she was saying it, but in hindsight, that is an important lesson. And I think of it differently now that I have a kid.
I was going to ask you about that.
To have these conversations with yourself, like how do I instill these values that I was instilled with? To avoid that affluenza that you're talking about. I was raised pumping gas and I just wanted to. I was never required to. Like I just wanted to. Yeah. And I think that's a little bit of luck and a little bit of nurturing. But I would say specifically with that, in New Jersey, guys, you have to pump gas for people in case you have anyone out of New Jersey listening. But I needed to make conversation with 100 adults per day. And you learned some people are happy, some people are not, some people are grouchy, some people you have to ask to put their cigarette out and they may comply. Some people you ask to put their cigarette out and they threaten you. Yep. You had to handle cash and count cash and organize cash. Then I started managing the kids, the schedule, hiring, firing, covering people when they didn't show up. So now I learned that the people I hire, I was actually responsible for the result. They didn't show up. Someone had to go do it. Yep. So that was so valuable for me. I'm not sure I would let my kid pump gas.
I was going to ask you that. Like, how has becoming like a father affected you with business? And like, what do you want out of your like? No, your kid's what? He's 8 months old.
Yeah, he just turned 11 months.
11 months. Yeah.
Week. I'm not sure I'd let my kid pump gas because of the fumes.
Yeah.
But retail for a growing mind is so important to like just come in, learn, have to talk to people, be responsible.
It's half the battle.
It's half the battle. How does my mind start to, think about instilling those values? It's part work, it's part play, it's part knowing how to do both. I don't know, man. It's an ongoing puzzle, and I'm not an expert at it at all. Yeah. I will tell you, in the last 11 months, I've not had as much time, but I've been more productive.
Yeah.
Because you can't waste any time. You'll see, like, I think Nick Huber's posted this. You'll see, I think Elon Musk has posted this, and these are extreme examples, but they've said, like, you'll actually make more money once you have children.
Yeah. I see that. People say it all the time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any time anymore to mess around or scroll Twitter. Like, you don't have any time.
Yeah, I haven't seen you active on Twitter. Someone was telling me, Jerry was telling me the other day, I haven't seen Dom on Twitter in so long.
I just don't have the bandwidth for it anymore, and it's a shame because as soon as you stop tweeting, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, the algo's cooked right now anyway, dude.
You're done, man. Like, I tweeted, you're just done. But I don't have the time anymore. In the last year, I've been more productive than I have been in my entire life.
That's weird.
I only get about 25 minutes to work out each night, and I've made literally more gains in the last 11 months than I had in the previous 15 years where I had all the time in the world when I was like a borderline adult. The time windows make you so much more productive, and it's actually incredible. I also definitely have a less tolerance for BS because there's just no time for it. My communication's more direct.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, there's just no time. Like, there's no time.
I've seen it firsthand with you.
There's no time for it. So it's been a huge net positive for my life, not only from a professional standpoint, but from a personal development and just enjoying a family. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, I feel like that's the game, honestly. Like, good business, have family, like, take care of your wife. Like, that's the game of, like, you were telling you earlier, like, you're telling your mom you're rich or, like, you're whatever. Like, that is being rich, Like, having a family, having a business, like, having a wife at home raising your kids, to me, is, like, that's what rich is at the end of the day.
That's the
game.
To be wealthy, yes.
Wealthy, yeah, exactly.
That is what it means. And yeah, man, it's an ongoing thing. You'll never stop working at it. You'll never fully have it figured out. I tell people even here at my company when we hire them to do jobs, in a year from now, you'll look back at yourself and think, wow, I really didn't know what I was doing. I was stupid. And if you don't look back at yourself and think, wow, I was stupid, you're still stupid. You still haven't figured it out, right? And I'm grateful to constantly be looking back at myself and say, wow, I really didn't know what life was. And I trust next year I'll think the same way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what's your best marketing channel? Like, what's working best for you guys? What are some, like, different marketing channels? I know your business is very B2B, but, like, what are your best marketing channels and some out-of-the-box marketing that you're doing, Because you probably make money on LinkedIn and Twitter. Like, I'm sure you've gotten customers from those places.
I've gotten one client off of Twitter who's been a wonderful 40 truck client who pays on time, and yep, and he's a great friend now. But let's talk specifically for a second. So Twitter is okay, but it's not reliable, especially when you're in the local service business, right? If I meet somebody in California, I can't necessarily be of value to them in the fuel business. So while it's fun and you make some money off of it, doesn't work super well for us. LinkedIn, same story. You have to just get lucky enough that
to be hyper localized. Yeah,
client's local. We do a lot of in-person sales, as I discussed. In-person sales are our number one means. We do a lot of cold calling. Those guys do cold calling, cold email, text messages, showing up, taking people to lunch. So we do a lot of in-person, brick and mortar sales.
Yeah.
We started doing search engine optimization with you, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, a little less.
Just about.
Yeah, it's definitely over a year.
It's untapped in your business.
Yeah, so we started doing that. That is exciting because it brings in a different sort of clientele.
Yeah.
Truck fleets are not generally looking for fueling through that source. However, national fleets who have multi-location and one of their, they're primarily doing business in Ohio, but they're putting on a 12 truck fleet in New Jersey. Well, that's how they find fuel.
Yep.
So, because if you go to their office, there's not a single decision maker there. It's just a offshoot of their main operation. So search engine optimization has been great to pick up business like that, which otherwise is like not possible to sell to in person.
Yeah.
Or cost effective to figure it out. That's been cool. We've also gotten more like emergency service generator work through the SEO. People going online, they need fuel now. So it's brought on a different area of clientele versus what my sales reps can go on and pick up. I'll also give a shout out to Christian from ListKit. We have implemented ListKit.
Yep, they're great people.
Is cool. Yep, good people.
I'll be with them this weekend.
Solid product.
Yeah.
The ability to reach out to that many people that quickly is powerful.
Yep.
We have drummed up some serious business and just lead conversation in doing that. So that's been valuable as well. That's a tool we can literally point to and see how successful it is. It also just brings in leads that I can then give to my sales reps.
Yep.
So when we have like a newer sales rep who we're training, we'll actually give them those leads because they're a little bit warmer. The person, expressed an interest, and then we can train a sales rep on that versus just throwing a sales rep into the field. And then we can help a sales rep build a book of business so I can underwrite, hey, is this sales rep making me money? It's like, well, yeah, because this is the accounts they have. So it's been a good tool for stuff like that.
Yeah, your industry is just so untapped for digital marketing where I feel like that's your big, what's the average owner, in your industry of these companies?
50 plus.
Yeah, because I deal with a lot of truck parking lots for SEO too, and those guys are old as hell also, and 50 plus, and it's tough to even explain SEO to them. But for you, digital marketing wise, these 50 plus guys aren't doing a freaking thing, and it's so easy for you to just grow your business by just doing stuff like cold email, cold calling, SEO, posting on LinkedIn. Those 4 things could really blow up your business just in a market nobody else is focused on.
Yeah, you just need to be everywhere.
You need to be everywhere. And that's where most people that don't have success with us is they think SEO is one channel and that's going to make them rich. It's no, you need to be all over the place these days, especially with ChatGPT, when it comes to ranking on AI or whatever, they're pulling from everywhere. They're not pulling from just Google anymore, It's
not just Google. It's not just SEO at all. You need to have sales in multiple ways, and that's just part of the marketing mix.
If you want to grow a legitimate business, but if you want to stay in a baby business, then you could only do one marketing channel,
You need to underwrite to it like you would a salesperson is how I looked at it. You're going to spend X and you hope to get X plus Y back. And if it makes sense to you at the end of the year, it makes sense. And that's only you can make that decision. That's how we look at sales reps. It's how we look at ListKit. It's how we look at your service. What's
your biggest bottleneck with your sales reps?
Getting new ones. It's a very
probably like that with drivers too.
Drivers, I don't have a problem with.
Really nice.
No, I
really
really
pay well.
We pay well, and we have really good management now. Our turnover is not that bad. My largest bottleneck is sales reps. I have one guy who's an absolute killer. I have one guy who's an apprentice, and then I have one guy who is fine. And then there's me. If I had 3 or 4 killers, my business would be so much bigger.
Yeah.
That's my biggest bottleneck is finding guys who are motivated, who want to sell, who have a long-term mindset. You can scalp sales reps from existing businesses.
Yeah.
Or one thing we've done successfully, and this is advice anybody can use. If one of your competitors sells to a private equity business and the sales reps who work there are used to selling the old way,
yep,
it's a good time to approach them and just say, hey, if you want to come sell the old way, you can do so at my business.
Yeah.
But what does that really look like, right? You can just say that, but you have to actually do it. So what does it mean to actually do it? I have a 65-year-old guy who's, in my opinion, the best sales guy in the motor and gas business in the Northeast. He's 65. He's never used a CRM in his life. But he's so good that I don't need him to. So what do? We build the infrastructure around him. So when he gets an order in, he just sends an email in plain text to put the order in. And then my dispatch or operations in-house will do all of the tech work, right? And we've leaned into that. So we will go after the older rep whose business gets bought by PE, and we'll say, hey, I'll still let you do it the old way. Salesforce, forget about it. Just send the email in, call it in, text it in, I don't care, and we'll make the work happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with most sales reps. People want them to follow a strict regimen. Like maybe your script, but dude, they're sales reps. Like I'm a sales guy myself, and like I'm a fucking mess at the end of the day on the back end. And like, yeah, just close your deals and keep your CRM kind of updated. But as long as I can track their close rates and calls they take, it's all good on our end, Yep. That's the biggest struggle for my business and most businesses is sales reps. Like right now I have 2 killers. I'm looking to add a 3. But like a good sales rep and a bad sales rep, like a bad sales rep either doesn't close good deals, it doesn't close any deals, or they're over promising and they're telling people crazy shit to close a deal. So like there's 2 ways, like a bad sales rep could have a high close rate because he's over promising. And like that's the toughest part with sales, can get tons of people for fulfillment, like hiring drivers, but getting actual sales rep, such a pain in the ass.
Hard.
Yeah, because they're all sales guys.
And we will pay tremendous amounts of money for the right ones. And I'll also just say, if you have ones that are bad, you just, and I'm not talking to you, I'm just generally speaking. Yeah. If you have ones that are bad, that you just got to fire them, because what they can do to the reputation of your business can make somebody unsaleable in the future. You could have a great client that you could just never sell to because of an interaction they had with a sales rep. Whether the sales rep overpromised and underdelivered, whether the sales rep was too pushy because they were desperate to get a sale done. There's a it's like anything. There's a balance.
They're cancerous to your organization is what we say.
Cancer, man. Cancer. Yeah. There's a balance to, time to close and, not being a jerk.
Yeah. And what's your experience been like working with us at Stryker Digital?
Dude, I can message you guys at any time and you're going to answer. Yeah. And that is awesome. Like anytime. Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't matter. You guys are always available for questions, comments, concerns. So I would say that's been so cool to see. I love Slack. You guys are in Slack. You're active in it. So again, the communication is just super easy. I think you're priced super reasonably, and we appreciate that. You're willing to hop on a call and say, hey, here's what I think you should be doing. You've also made suggestions to us, which we have implemented and seen success with in like relatively short order. So that's cool as well. Like you guys know what you're doing and you have experience and you've been doing it for a long time. You're not just a startup that just turned on and you're saying yes to any agency business you can get. Like I've been following you guys for a while. You talk the talk, you walk the walk. And then lastly, I would just say, the results speak for themselves. We've used it. We've gotten new business, and we're happy about it.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that. That's awesome to hear. And
of course,
where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years going? Because I know the world's changing rapidly, especially for diesel and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think heck of a lot's going to be different in that time frame in the fleets that we sell to. I just think we're going to be bigger, and we're going to be better at doing it. We are starting to do more, warehousing of goods. So if somebody needs something local, like if a cruise ship needs a certain chemical or a certain lubricant, We're starting to find those clients, and we're starting to warehouse those goods and becoming kind of a final mile courier of stuff. So we're going to be doing some more warehousing. We're going to be doing some more distribution. We're going to be doing, more lubricants, more specialized products and sales. But other than that, I just think we'll be larger. I think we'll be better at doing it. We're at a 45-person staff now. I would expect that to be closer to 75 in 5 years.
Sweet. Awesome. And one last question, someone was your age going into a family business, doesn't even have to be in diesel, like fourth generation family business owner. What advice would you give them when it comes to dealing with those relationships with your family and keeping stuff separate between business and family? What would be your best advice for that?
Earn their respect through results first.
Yeah. I feel like that goes for anything.
Produce. Make them money. Make them money first.
Yeah.
If you're not into sales, I don't have advice for you. But if you are, make them money. After you make them money with the inch they give you, ask for a foot. Make them money. Ask for 2 feet. Ask for 5 feet. Ask for a mile. Make them money. Once you've made your money and you've made them money, don't take any shit.
Yep.
That's the
Great advice. Awesome. Great advice. And anything else you want to go over or talk about?
I don't think so, my friend.
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you for coming on, everyone. This is Dominick Tullo. You can find him on LinkedIn at Dominick Angelo Tullo and then Twitter at Dominick Tullo.
Thank you, Bodhi.
Thank you, sir.